monologue first to begin with. I'm going to just do my usual intro. I'm going to reintroduce my cards as part of my marketing efforts. And then I'm going to just talk about a couple of videos I posted recently. And then we're going to bust into you, and we're going to start off with a little bit of a history check. And then we're going to start the process. Aye?
Yes.
Aye?
Is it about an hour?
Yeah, man, no, I'm going to keep an eye on the time.
Yeah, so what I'll do...
I'm all right with time.
Actually, yeah, that's fine. You're good. I mean, don't worry. You got up until 2:05.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect, yeah.
Time.
No
If
worries.
you need more than that, then that's fine.
No, it's fine. Yep, perfect.
Just a little clap for Casper.
Sweet, yep.
Well, you guys have fun.
Thank
Lighting is
you.
good. Video is good. You're looking
Sweet.
nice and sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Have fun, and I'll see you in a bit.
No worries.
Thank you.
Alrighty, cool. Alrighty. Don't look so nervous. Welcome everyone to the Feel Inspired podcast with me, Amit Sodha. This is episode 63, but this is going to be season 3, episode 1, because I am starting a new coaching session with a lovely new client called Devi. We'll introduce her in a minute, but first off, I just want to say welcome to everyone, and just a reminder as well that I have kind of pivoted the podcast a little bit somewhat, and now I'm doing something a little bit different that people aren't doing, which is I am coaching my clients live on the podcast, so you get to see the transformation happen in real time, in as it happens, I suppose. So first things first, though, let me just remind you all that I have launched my Spark Conversations cards. These are a little tool, a little aid that you can take on a date. That's kind of like a way of getting to know the other person a little bit better. So, for example, if I were to ask Devi right now to hold on, flip that over and pick a card, any card. And a bit of a stretch here. Okay, read it out and answer the question.
What's your favourite way to stay active and have fun?
Nice.
Nice, like it.
Love it. Okay, cool. So answer the question. What is it?
Sorry, say that
sorry.
again.
Oh, so it was, the question is, what's your favourite way to stay active and have fun?
Oh, so I go to the gym every day.
Steady now, keep it clean.
Woo. Well, okay, I'll keep it clean. So I actually go to the gym every day. So I do weights, I do running on the treadmill, and I do yoga once a week, and walking every day. So that's how I keep active. In terms of fun, I love dancing. I love meeting my friends and family, and yeah, just doing a lot of personal development stuff. That sort of thing.
So, as you can see, great for a date, a good way to get to know someone, and using it as a way of asking different questions rather than the usual status quo of how do you do, where you're from, what do you do, etc., etc. It's a great tool. You could take it on dates, like I said. It's even good for friends, for families. You can use it at work, whatever you want. It's for any occasion. So they're on the website sparkconversations.shop. You can also get it on TikTok Shop on my account, Amit Sodha UC, and they're also going to be soon available on Amazon as well as TikTok for by TikTok as well, which I cannot wait for that to be happening. Right, so I want to touch upon a couple of things, though, initially, just to get the ball rolling, because I think there is a element of where people do message me and ask me questions, and they frame it, and they also kind of think, and it's completely understandable, but they think they're the only ones going through that problem. But often, a lot of the questions, especially around dating relationships, can be rooted in a few simple principles. So one of the videos, I did a 10-minute video on TikTok recently that were kind of like the 6 things you need to know in order to firstly get into a healthy relationship and then turn that relationship into a long-lasting healthy relationship. So I'll just quickly reiterate what those 6 things were. The first thing was using something like a tool like the 36 questions or Spark Conversations cards to use that as a way and a means to get to know people on a more intimate, deeper level, rather than it being the surface level questions or trying to get to know someone via your own list. So qualify them via your list. And I see this happen a lot where people are asking them, where do you live? What do you do? Where are you from? Where, do you like this kind of particular genre of movie? I mean, it could be anything, but they're assuming that their answers matching what they want to hear is the way to get to know them. And that isn't the way to do it. What you're trying to do is to get to know the character of the person, because I'm telling you now, the character will supersede pretty much everything. The character even supersedes compatibility to a certain degree. Of course, compatibility is very important too, But when you meet someone of a good character, you'll find that compatibility generally is very good anyway, because the chances are you're someone of a good character. And when you also meet someone of a good character, then the chances are you're going to gel, you're going to connect much easier and get to know each other. So that was number one. Number two was, this is where my brain is going to kind of go a little bit, run a little bit dry now, and we'll probably forget what the second thing was. I'll come back to number two in a second because I remember the others. So number three was understanding the nature of love languages. Love language is obviously a book that was written by Gary Chapman, but that one, we'll do that one as number four. Number three is the love languages of the soul, which is something that I've kind of created, a principle that I've created to help people understand, for example, the very basic nature of man and woman, masculine and feminine. So men have two primal or soul love needs, and they are space and appreciation. Every man wants his space when he needs it, and every man loves appreciation. In fact, I would say probably the number one love language for men is words of affirmation. Then you've got number four, which is, of course, Gary Chapman's take on love languages. And he talks about the 5 languages of love, and we all know what they are, but I think the one thing that people get wrong is forget that we've actually got not just one but two. We have a love language of receiving and a love language of giving. Our love language of receiving and giving can be different. They aren't always, but they can be different. So for example, my love language of receiving is words of affirmation. My love language of giving is acts of service. My wife's love language of receiving is quality time. So I've got to figure out how to mesh my love language of acts of service with her receiving of quality time. So that was number 4. Number 5 is understanding the Gottman Institute studies of relationship longevity. So this is actually when you're getting into the relationship and what was the biggest predictor of whether a relationship lasts or not. And that was, of course, their knowledge and understanding of this idea of bidding for connection, bidding for attention. Couples who were sort of able to answer their partner's calls for attention 70 to 80% of the time, they're the ones who lasted beyond 2 years. The ones who were not, the ones who only answered about 20-30% of the time, are the ones who only lasted up to 2 years. So it was a great predictor of divorce. So that was number 5. Number 6 is the stages of relationships, the 5 stages of relationships. Understanding that is a great way to understand when you face certain hurdles in your relationships. It gives you a very good idea and actually can be a good reminder that when you're going through a particular challenge, you can almost could put it down to the fact you're crossing from one stage to another. For example, in the early stages, you might cross from the honeymoon stage 1 to stage 2. So you're going to go through certain challenges at that point. You may not realize it. You may just think, why am I having this problem? But actually, when you really realize you're traversing from one stage to the other, you can be like, I get it now. And I do remember number 2, and that's the anxious avoidant paradigm. And it's probably good that I left it for last because this is going to be a big one today, I think, as well, because obviously Devi has already filled me in on a few things, but we are going to now delve into our lovely client, Devi. Welcome to the Feeling Inspired podcast. Sorry for the long monologue there, but it was important to do, I think. And welcome. So first things first, of course, my job is to let you know that obviously I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I can give you the ideas. Ultimately, it's up to you what you choose to do. I can give you the answers based on what I understand as being the fundamentals of human behavior, especially towards attraction, and that we have certain ways of responding, and these are sometimes based on our history and our past. And so we're going to work through these and get you to a point that and just a reminder as well, we're not just here to coach about relationships as well, although that is a big part. Actually, it really goes much deeper than that. So we're going to be talking all things mind, body, spirit, spiritual. We're going to go to every level. It's a holistic process, and we'll go through this like one stage at a time. But what happens is most people I coach, it tends to fall down to one or two things. You're not here necessarily to become a relationship expert either, but you do want to make sure you're in a position where whatever have been your biggest challenges up until this point, don't continue to repeat. We're here to interrupt that pattern and make sure you start a new chapter as of today. That's the whole point of this process. So, and there will be times where I will challenge you though, and I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear to understand it. So there will be periods where you might feel a little bit challenged. That's okay, but all in all, though, this should be a fun process. It is just a conversation between two people, and I'm just here to just guide you a little bit. That's all. That's all I do. So with that in mind, I usually start with telling people a little bit of a history of myself, but I'm not going to do that today. We're going to start on you, actually. And I want to know a first few questions, right? Firstly, tell everyone just who you are. Feel free to introduce yourself to camera, who you are, how young you are, what you do for a living is fine. You can give that in detail. What I'd like to know, though, ideally, is up until this point in your life, what have been the biggest challenges you faced when it comes to dating, relationships? Tell me a little bit perhaps about your last or your longest relationship. Tell me a little bit about your most recent dating experiences. Summarize. And last but not least, if there's been any specific pattern that has repeated throughout this process for you up until this point. So I know there's a lot to swallow there, but we'll go into the details soon, so don't worry. Just you can skirt over some of these. You don't have to go into incredible detail right now. We just want to get a sense and an idea.
Okay. So, yeah, right. I'm Devi Patel. I'm 51 years old. Young.
Yeah, you're definitely young.
And what I do is I work in IT, and on the side I'm a yoga and a meditation teacher.
Lovely.
So in terms of my history, what was the questions? There were so many.
I guess so starting off with, what's been like the kind of, have you ever been married before?
No.
Never been married?
Yeah.
So what's been your longest relationship to date? And I guess in a nutshell, what happened to lead to its ending? So
I think, it was back in the day. I was probably about nearly 2 years, if that. That person's family didn't want us to get married.
Okay, cool.
And because they wanted him to marry somebody in their community or their sector. And we were still the same in terms of Gujarati.
How long ago was this? This particular
was when I was around 30.
Oh, so it's quite a long time ago. Well, not quite a long time ago. I didn't mean to say that. But okay, yeah.
So that was that. So in the end, I just said, look, there's no point having conflict with your parents. We just walk away, really, because there was it was just a lot of bad energy. That was that one in a nutshell. It was like an Indian film, actually. Yeah.
Bollywood stories, all too familiar.
Considering, the guy there was, he'd already been married twice, so I would have been his third.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I would have been his third wife. And then I think in the end, he ended up with somebody that was much younger than him. And so we did get married again.
Remarried. Okay, cool.
To somebody that...
that's interesting, actually, that at that time you're ready to commit to someone who'd kind of already been married twice before.
Yeah.
Because that's a real big difference of, values in a sense as well. Because I'll just quick example, right? People who've never been married before, they both want that experience of having a wedding, their first wedding together. Whereas I've noticed that, and this happens a lot as well, where if you get a couple where one's been married, one hasn't, the one who's generally been married is happy with a small wedding, and the one who hasn't still wants the big pomp and splendor. So that's often a big thing that I come across. There's always this big sticking point.
Yeah.
So, but been through it twice as well. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think at the time, I was quite open because I was looking at his nature and things like that. So I just thought, he's actually a nice guy, but I suppose that's all I went with. And I just thought you meet someone, and then you get married. That's it.
How long were you together?
It's around 2 years.
Okay, cool. 2 years in total. And so was he quite romantic, and did he propose in quite a romantic way and stuff like that? Did he
very attentive, very, surprises and communication was there. Pretty much a man's man, in terms of masculine energy. He did all definitely the right things for me to even say yes, in that context.
So just out of curiosity, what was the reason it took 2 years for this to come to the surface?
Okay. I don't remember, but I think it was just on and off. I was in London, he was up Midlands. It's just, don't know. I think it was just that's how the dating was.
So were the parents initially fine?
No, they were never. No, I think as soon as they found out,
Okay.
they were actually, yeah, that was it. You just reminded me that there was a lot of conflict on that side, for him not to marry me. Because I think one of the episodes was I went to their house to stay around. This is just a quick one where in the morning, he made me breakfast, and the mother didn't like that. I think she said to him, "Oh, she's never going to look after you. You're not going to, that's not the girl you're going to marry."
Okay,
So that was it. That was it. It was from that moment. But even prior to that, I don't think they really knew me, who I was inside. It was like I got judged straight away from something.
That's quite interesting as well. That again, that's a little bit uncommon to hear something like that. That he was very attentive, very nice, but because obviously often the other person's behavior tends to stem from family, nurture, environment, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you saying that he's was quite a attentive guy. Making you breakfast in bed or breakfast in the morning and stuff, and the mum not being okay with that. Whereas I think there's a lot of mums out there would be like, "Oh, shabash, my boy, making her breakfast. That's so sweet."
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, cool. No worries. And then since then, what's been predominantly, if you could put your finger on it, what's been one of the biggest patterns you've spotted in your own dating life?
I think they've all been different. I think the next one was probably from online dating. Well, Shadi.com, where there's massive distance relationship.
Yeah.
He's in the US, I'm in here. And then to find out that actually he was already married, he's got kids,
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so that's just a quick one. Then the next one was a serious one was around 30, 39, I would say. So 39, met somebody great. And I think the pattern was like that. Actually, he's also been married twice, so I would have been
interesting.
But I don't know. It wasn't like I consciously knew that.
Yeah,
when you meet them online, you just don't know.
You just don't know. Yeah.
But no,
or maybe you did subconsciously.
No, I don't know. I didn't think
Well, that's
like
the whole
that.
point. Subconsciously, we wouldn't know. But
who knows? Yeah,
who knows? I
Could
mean,
be,
I'm saying it might be. It might
be
not
a
be. I
blind
have no idea.
spot. Yeah. Yeah. No. So that relationship again, I just thought, yeah, great. Amazing. And then his mother, said once, "Oh, can we invite your mum to our place? We want to get together because she really liked me and everything." But he never said that, within that period of time. So I said to him, "Oh, your mum's saying this to me, inviting my mum round and stuff." And I don't know if he appreciated that. And then it was a great relationship. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I can't do the commitment thing." And that was that. So that was that one over. I was going to say something else, but I can't remember. But again, yeah, it was about 6 months. I wouldn't say it was that long, but 6 months, it was very intense because it literally lived down the road. Met 3 times a week, great dates.
Yeah.
We used to go to his, have dinner with his mum and dad and everything. So quite good dates and stuff. So yeah, those are the significant ones. Maybe, the recent one, I would say significant one was, he's divorced, got two kids. That's all fine. Relationship going really well. Pretty much everything that you really think that's the one now, because met all my friends and they thought, yes, this is it. And then I think, like I said, I think I mentioned it to you, all of a sudden, it just stopped, like diverted another way. And that could have been down to me. And I think we had a chat about that. And I think that's where that could be a pattern of mine, where something I say or something I do, that could be an issue. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm glad you ended on that note, actually, because that kind of nicely segues into the thing I want to talk about. Well, no, I mean, not the only thing.
But then I'd been on the other date to the second date recently, where went really well. Everything was fine. Oh, when can I see you again, Devi? Then I didn't hear anything.
So, just out of curiosity, when he asked you the question, when can I see you again, what did you say?
Oh, because prior to him asking him, he said it's my big birthday next month. I'm going away with my friend, and I'm taking my mum away as well. So I said, oh, that's really fine. So when he asked me, I said, no, you've got these things going on. Yeah, you know. And then I said, oh, I'd like to see you again, and I put it on the text as well. And it was great seeing you. Everything. That's what I said. I said I'd like to see you again. Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, of course, you know. And it was all very, you know, bit physical as well.
Okay.
So there was a lot of chemistry and a lot of, you would have thought, yes, we are going to see each other again, but then nothing, not even to say, have you got home safely? Nothing like that.
Okay, cool. Maybe that's not his way. Because not every guy does that. Not every guy always says that. And not every guy thinks of it all the time.
No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm interested, right? So we can dive in right here. There's a lot more. There's a lot to dive in and unpack here. But we'll start on this obvious one. For me, because obviously I have this saying, right, and I think it's a really important one to understand, that men never understand the complexity of women, and women never really understand the simplicity of men.
Mm.
So hearing this, obviously I don't know the full picture, but just my immediate reaction, my gut reaction is that he's obviously quite excited and he wants to see you. But your response sounded a little bit not so enthusiastic.
Oh, okay. Right.
From a guy's perspective, he could be thinking, oh, that was a bit cold.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just giving you just a possibility. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have all the answers because I don't know this person from Adam, right? I have no idea who he is. But when you think of it that way, it is a little bit interesting, isn't it, to consider that actually, oh, maybe I've missed something. Because this does tack on to another element of this, which is that we're more well versed in society in knowing what a woman wants. You know, we cliche it a lot, you know. Woman likes time, attention, she wants flowers, she wants chocolates, etc. But often when I ask women, what do you think the guy wants? You know, it often comes back with blank faces and very loose ideas that, no, we're like I said, we're very good at educating what women want, but there is no education on what men want. Not only is there no education on what men want, but there's no education from a woman's perspective on how to get what you want from a man as well. So an example of this, right, would be, for example, so I often say that when you're in the initial stages and you're planning a date, you know, if a guy is showing interest, right, like I always say this, and excuse me, men, but I'm just going to be quite frank. We are a little bit dumb sometimes. So if I'm expressing interest to you, it could be like, yeah, I'd love to see you again. And you could just be, yeah, that'll be really nice. But if you look at a very simple example like that, I haven't really got anything back to work with. The thing is, women are very between the lines, men are very direct. So we, as is, you know, this isn't trying to negate or be reductive as to other relationship types. I'm just using men and women as a pure example. That we have a need, you have a need. And it's my job to understand your needs. It's your job to understand mine. And we work together. We turn into a bit of a dance. It becomes literally like a two to tango. If we are going to dance right now, if you and I were about to do a tango right here, but neither of us knew the steps and neither of us actually led, how would the dance go?
Not great.
We were tripping over this table. My privates would land on these cactuses, and you know there'd be like, you know, there'd be carnage, right? Yes. And therein lies a fundamental principle about this, which is that no one really teaches us this. It took me years to learn, took me years, and I had to learn it all by myself. But I started to realize and understand, actually, one, you have certain needs. And so I need to communicate according to those needs. But also, I have needs too. And if a woman is not communicating, answering those needs, then of course, we're going to be off kilter completely. This is one thing I've always said that, my wife is really good at in the beginning. She tapped into some of the basics of those needs, right? Like, for example, one of the big ones was challenging my ego. I mentioned this on the podcast with Priti, so I won't go into too much detail. But she knew how to challenge my ego, and that was a really good thing. But also, she really knew how to communicate her value. That was another thing that she did really well. And to this day, we still have this running joke with each other. If you find anyone better than me, go ahead. Good luck finding them. Actually, I say to Nirthi, if you find someone better than me, tell me everything I need to know and I'll make myself better than him. Because I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be the kind of guy where, she settles for me. I want to be the best that she can have. I feel like that shaving advert, the best a man can get, right? The best a woman can get. So these are just some of the things that we forget in this whole idea of men and women and relationships. And so going back to your example, we'll do a deeper dive into two aspects of this. One is that perhaps he was waiting for something more from you. And that could have come in the form of, you know what? That's so sweet. Do you know what? I really want to see you too. Of course, I have an incredibly busy schedule. You could do the whole banter thing, the playful thing. I'll have to make sure I've got time in my schedule to fit you in for this potential third date, young man. Like there's room for that kind of banter. But maybe he was waiting for you to say, cool, well, do you know what? I've got a couple of days free coming up. If either of those work for you, let me know.
Oh, okay.
The one thing that your situation has demonstrated, how poorly equipped women are at this. That society is currently teaching us that men need to know everything already and we need to be doing everything already. But it doesn't work like that. We do need to be prompted occasionally. We're not mind readers. We're pretty poor at action taking. Well, we're not that bad, but we need reminding from time to time. There are days when I'm probably a poor husband and my wife has to give me the good old slap sometimes. That's okay. She's accepted it. That's just parcel of being a wife. Don't have to remind him sometimes that he's my husband. He better get his backside in gear. But she lives with it. She doesn't complain, you don't do anything, you don't do anything. She doesn't do that. She'll just remind me from time to time, hello, you are my husband. You are supposed to do these things, take me out, all this kind of stuff. She just reminds me because I do just genuinely as a bloke forget, or I just become a little bit complacent and lazy. And that's okay, that happens. She doesn't try and change what is. She just works with what is. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is this all ringing a bell so far?
So
Kind of like
It's all like, oh my God. Yeah, it's that communication piece, I think, on my side.
Yeah.
That coming across, that enthusiasm. I just thought saying yes was kind of good. Yeah, sure.
But if it was me, if it's in my head, it's like, oh, okay, she said yes, but she's, she hasn't, I don't know anything. What do I do next? I don't know. Where do I?
No, I did say after you've checked, let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But even then, like, it's we're very loose and we're very kind of callous with each other. Let me know. That's a common one. That's a real common one I hear.
Yeah.
It's so ambiguous and up in the air. Like I said, for a guy, we need a lot of specificity and we need directness. And we need the women just to pave the way. We'll walk down the pavement. We'll walk down it. But we need the women to pave the way. You hold all the cards. We can't do anything without being enabled by you in some way. If I'm on a date with a woman and I want to kiss her, back in the day, I needed some signal from her that it was okay to kiss her. Whether it was if I went in for holding her hand or, just getting a little bit closer to her or just that look in the eye, before it happens. But then I would know. But if that wasn't there, and this had happened, where I dated women and their signals were well off, and they expected me to know, and I'm like, how am I supposed to know? If you don't do the dance with me, then how do I know? I'm not a mind reader. I can't figure these things out. So you have to kind of start to be a bit more proactive in your communication with him, as you said.
And I even text the next day to say, yes, I do want to see you. And yeah, thanks for a great day yesterday. So I thought that those were quite clear in my head.
Is that fun and playful?
Well, it was a nicer text. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Is it really like that? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I'm sure, there's stuff for him to do on his side.
Banter, yeah.
Yeah, great. Mm-hmm. And, long may that continue. Because, banter and, that type of really kind of, as we call it, right, flirty conversation, as I say to people, the word flirting comes up from the word flirteur, right? One of the origins, and that means to talk sweet nonsense. So, so it's that ability to, even in situations like this, to be able to talk sweet nonsense, to be able to spark him a little bit so that he does kind of
step up.
He steps up. He steps up and he does his thing as well. Then he likes, doing that thing, even just the playfulness. I mean, it's a really rubbish example of mine, but it's just one of those ones that, I'm really looking forward to. But, you better step up. There's quite a few men waiting out there for me. So, like I'm just saying, it's just a playful thing to do. It's not serious. Doesn't mean anything. You're not doing it in such a way to try and intentionally make him jealous. You're doing it in a way to playfully make yourself like, I'm in demand, kind of thing. So it's just the point is that fun conversation, that ability to, like I said, ping pong conversation, that flirteur, that ability to talk sweet nonsense where you both have, more fun in the conversation. It becomes more appealing. You cannot wait to talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
So since that, anyway, has there been any further communication?
No. So I have a text that I was going to show you. And then after that, I'm not bothered, because if I've not heard, then I guess you said walk away.
Yeah. So, sorry, is this a text you've written or he's written to you?
I've just compiled it. I haven't sent it yet.
Okay, you've compiled it, right? So you still, since then, you've not heard anything at all?
No, it's been a week today. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just gist, you don't have to tell me the exact. What's the message you've written?
I've just been kind of straight in the sense, thanks for, Saturday. Thanks for driving 5 hours. And, communication and consideration is important to me. And it's fine that, we may have differences like that. But, just the gist of it is about, this is how I thought it was going to be, but it's okay for you to be like that. But I just wish you all the best, due to the lack of communication. I'm just assuming, we're not meeting again. That was that.
All right, cool.
So it's along the lines that, you sort of structured it, and then from a direct, but being appreciative from what happened. The date was great. We had a good time, and that was that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, right. These are, I can only speculate to a certain degree as to what the reason is. I don't know. The truth is, I don't know. I can guess the most common things, and that is, of course, number one, maybe the buzz has died. Who knows? I don't know. Number two, you said he drove 5 hours. So where's he based?
Up north.
Okay, so he came all the way to see you as well.
Yeah, and on the first day, I drove 3 hours and he drove 3 hours. Okay, so cool. On the second day, I went to meet him in London.
Okay, cool. Right, so he drove all the way down and then nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so obviously there could be that consideration. Maybe he was just thinking that was a lot. Maybe I'm a bit tired. Yeah, I'm assuming he's roughly around the same age as you, or similar, close age. Okay, so similar age, close age, right? And I know from my world, driving 5 hours is, it's not a big deal in one sense, but if I knew I was going to be seeing someone 5 hours away, That'd be quite a big consideration. Very big as well, especially at our age, just generally. When you're younger, when you're in your 20s, you know, taking road trips is quite an adventure. It's quite nice. I used to love driving. So
no, he's only there temporarily, so he is, you know, usually in London.
Okay, cool.
So he's there for a few months with his mum at the moment. So.
All right, cool. So going back to your message, if you were to put yourself in his shoes and you received that, what do you think? How would you feel receiving that message?
I think I'd feel, okay, yeah, no, it's the truth. And I appreciate the honesty. And yeah, I'll be like, oh, that's a nice message. You know, even if I haven't communicated to her for this many days after saying that I want to meet, or, you know, after having a fantastic date. So yeah, I think I'd appreciate it. And the fact that I'm being direct, that it's a direct message. And at the same time, I'm just communicating, you know, I'm receiving something that she wants to say. She's not just ignored me as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't, yeah, I could say, forget it, you know, walk away, like you said. But then I thought, actually, maybe if I do this, I don't know, let's see. I'm quite curious.
Yeah.
It's more curiosity more than anything now, because I've passed that stage of, I don't think that's the right guy for me because of that, you know, lack of communication.
Yeah.
So yeah, on reflection, it's fine. And if I did receive it, I think I'd be okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think your message is okay. I think it's a good start. I think it could be a little bit better, because you're right. There is certain aspects of this as well, and I think there is an element of this that even if something has happened to him, then just sending you one quick message.
2 minutes, a minute to text.
Yeah, sending you one quick message. Listen, something has happened. I'm not ignoring you. I'll get back to you soon. However, just before we get to the content of what you could write, this is an important psychological thing from the standpoint of, like, how much do you know about attachment styles?
I don't.
Okay, cool. So we generally have one of 3 main attachment types.
Okay.
But there's more to it than that. But let's just go through over the anxious, the avoidant, and the secure. The 3 main ones, right? And an anxious attachment style, as you can probably imagine, is the kind of person who, the example I give is 2 people. The anxious is the one who, perhaps, let's say I'm the anxious in a relationship with you. You're quite keen on me in the beginning. So I'm a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to open up to this person. I don't want to be heartbroken again. And I'm not sure, is this worth it? I don't know. Anxious type thoughts. It's the best way to describe it, really. But I'm facing a lot of this anxiety in my head. I'm going through this kind of like roller coaster of emotions. All the while, you're kind of like, but Amit, I'm a hot girl. I'm like you want to make sure that you get together with me, son. Right? And you're doing everything to break down my barriers. Right? So you're the avoidant right now, and I'm the anxious person. And I'm like, I don't know. And then eventually I cave. And initially, things are good. For the first date, 2, 3, everything's going great. But then what happens is I need a bit of a reassurance from you. I ask you the question, where is this going, for example? Or, you know, I suddenly just drop the G word and call you my girlfriend or something like that, right? And then I'm ready to take the next step. But then suddenly you as the avoidant has kind of gone, oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know if this person's for me or not. I have no idea. And you start to distance yourself. You go quiet. And I'm all the while I'm thinking, what's happened here? She's gone quiet. You know, what did I do wrong? Where did this all go wrong? I message you. Don't hear from you. I message you again. Eventually you might just respond with, oh, I'm so sorry. I've just been really busy. I'll get back to you soon or something. I don't know, anything. And I'm like, oh, is that it? You know, this person who suffers from this kind of overthinking, this anxious type thinking, it's just getting worse and worse, and I'm getting more clingy to you, like, you know, let me in, tell me what's wrong. Did I do something wrong? What happened? And you'll be like, no, it's okay. And you kind of want to distance a bit more, because the more I cling to you now, the more you're like, oh God, this person, how do I get rid of this person now? So that's a typical example. And then it'll get to the point probably where you'll either ghost me or just kind of walk away. Some avoidants are quite polite and they'll send you a message saying, sorry, I don't want to do this anymore. But all too often the pattern is that you'll ghost. So that is the anxious avoidant paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
That is, and often as well with the avoidance, they're the type of people who will come to me and tell me, I always attract or seem to meet people I'm not attracted to.
Mm.
But then an avoidant can turn into an anxious attachment style when they meet someone who fits all their criteria, because they've got really high expectations of what they want and what they're looking for. And then when they finally meet that, they can turn very anxious again. So they can completely flip. So 20% of the time they might be anxious. 80% of the time they'll be avoidant. But that is the key paradigm. So most people, when they come to me, it's usually this paradigm. I would say a good 60 to 80% of the conversations I have with people is this. They come to me, oh, I don't know, things seem to be going really well. He kind of just went quiet. What happened? Why did he distance himself? What was going on? What did I do wrong? Where did he go wrong? Do you know what I mean? So this is what I was talking about earlier, those 6 things, the number 2. So you're in this anxious avoidant paradigm right now. He's obviously an avoidant, and you're obviously you have a slight anxious attachment style. And so he may not be thinking about you right now, or he even may be thinking there's nothing wrong, nothing for him to do, and he'll just get back to you in his own time. Whereas you're thinking, oh, I need to do something about this. I need to, you're going through this overthinking process. And you're really giving this a lot of thought. And one of the ways as an anxious to overcome this is, firstly, when you're first thinking about something that's crossed your mind, like, for example, that it's causing you to feel a level of anxiety, you've got to act on it quickly. The problem is if you stew on it, ruminate on it too much, you're reinforcing that behavior in yourself. You're overthinking it. And then what happens is you'll start going to loads of people who are going to give you bad advice and not very healthy advice. And then you're going to kind of like, well, one friend said this, the other friend said this, the other friend did this, blah, blah, blah. It just becomes a mad mess, hot mess in your head. So you don't want to do that. You are in a position right now, you can do something about this. You can either get the answer you want, or you can keep ruminating and figure out and keep thinking about, what do I do next? So as we're kind of like, we've already been like 40 minutes in, right? So I want to get you to a point where you are feeling, or like in a position where you feel like, okay, cool, I know what to do, and I feel confident doing it. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to make it clear that what you want may not match what he wants, but let's sort this out right now. It's a very difficult thing for a woman to do, by the way.
Yeah,
to be direct and clear.
I find that really difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult, because you don't want to become a, you don't want to upset him.
Yeah.
The anxious right there. I don't want to upset him. You kind of like, again, you're, what's the way to phrase this? You're really going into yourself, your own thoughts and stuff, already trying to mind read the other person and thinking about, how they may react before they've even done it, before you've even got to that point. So a lot of this is going on. A lot of this is going on in your head. So we're going to kind of like just get to a point. Actually, have you got your phone in your hand, or is it in your bag?
In the bag.
If it's in your bag, don't worry. We'll just do it in our heads first, and then you can do it when you're ready. But if it was me and I was in your shoes, I would not lose my sense of humor. And the reason I wouldn't, because you know how we have this saying in society that, using humor as a defense mechanism. I think it's one of our best defense mechanisms. I think it is a very healthy defense mechanism. I think it's a very healthy offensive mechanism, that we tackle on some of the most difficult things with our humor intact. We don't take life too seriously, and we tackle things we need to head on, being ready to laugh. Laugh at ourselves, laugh at our shortcomings, laugh at whatever, laugh at the situation. Because what the hell else are you going to do? Are you just going to be mad?
Yeah.
Is that healthy for you?
No.
Are you going to be angry? Are you going to stay in a state of anxiousness?
No.
I
think it's about, you're just laughing at it now. That's the point where I've got to now. Is like, it's too funny. Nothing surprises me anymore. Seriously.
But I want you
Yeah.
to feel good as you do
Yeah.
this. We're gonna actively change your state as you're doing this. All right. So, look, we have no idea what the outcome's gonna be, right? We truly don't. When we talked about him in the beginning, we had this conversation about how, when remind me if I've said this wrong, because it might have been someone else, but it was something to do with, obviously it was the same thing after the first date.
It was the same guy. First date. No, second date. Sorry, the same date, but a week before he didn't communicate what, when, where, how. And I think the day before I said, "Oh, is everything okay?" And then I think you said, "Oh, send this text." And then he responded quite positively with, "Yes, everything's not okay because they had an issue or whatever, but thanks for being direct. And we can meet on this date, this date." So the response was quite good. But I think I was thinking, well, why couldn't he just text me that week to tell me, not the day before when I've asked him? And I think that was a bit disrespectful, considering we've already arranged a date.
So look, I mean, just one more thing I'll say about this, right? This could be his character as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And obviously you're expecting more communication where he's not very communicative. So at this stage in the relationship, it's going to be up for you guys to figure out what works for both of you. Yeah, because ultimately 10 years down the line, were you to marry this person, you'd probably face similar situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or other problems in disguise that are actually rooted in the same thing. But if you don't find a way to handle each other's emotions, then of course that relationship is going to struggle. So you've so because like you said, even in response to that message that you sent before, he actually responded quite positively, and in his head everything was okay, everything was absolutely fine.
So when was he going to tell me?
Exactly, right?
No, that's not okay.
No, but in his head, everything's okay. Like, he was like just bouncing along as normal, living his life. Like, he wasn't, because he's an avoidant, he's obviously got a slight avoidance in him. I don't know to what extent, but in his head, everything's fine. Nothing's changed. Everything's cool. But of course, he didn't know that you were expecting to be messaged or communicated with. So this is where it's an important one. I think this message is actually a really important part of the process.
Well, especially if he's all the way there, I'm here. I don't know where we're meeting, what we're doing. And the date is tomorrow, and it's 8:00 at night now. So I think that's very...
So are we talking, this is actively planned now for tomorrow?
No.
That was last time, right? So no, we're not talking, there isn't a date in the book yet.
There's another date tomorrow, but that's not with this guy. But that's cool. Another story. But no, with this one.
Right. Okay.
So that guy is still what I'm saying.
So just to clarify, just so I remember correctly, you've had two, and this is into the third date, right?
Oh,
would be a third date if it was going to get to the next date.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So you've had two, and this is always, for me, is always a crunch time. Third date, 3 month, 1 year. These are all crunch times in early stages. So if you learn this skill now, if you don't, I think it will happen again with the next person. But if you learn this skill now, you'll be equipped to handle it should it happen again. So that's the beauty of it. So if it was me, well, make up a name. Let's make up a name. I was about to ask you his name. No, don't tell me his name. We don't want to spoil him his identity. But let's say his name's Raj. I don't know what his name is, right? But hey, Raj, since we last spoke, I've not had any communication from you. For me, it's important that we do communicate between meetings. That's something that's really important to me. I love the fact that you did say you wanted to meet me again, and you were so enthusiastic about it. I want you to know I was too, and I am too. But how I operate, I need a little bit of communication between meetings. I need to be kind of like, if we're planning a week, a date in a week, then maybe halfway between you could communicate and just tell me that everything's confirmed, we're ready to meet. This is just one of my needs. This is the kind of person I am. It doesn't have to be too much. I'm not asking for full-blown daily texts. I'm not asking for, a daily reassurance of morning babe, hi babe, how's your day babe. I'm not asking for that. I just want to know. And just that you're thinking of me as well. I'm not saying we're in an exclusive relationship. Obviously, you're not going to put in this detail. I'm just kind of ad-libbing a little bit for this video, right? But in your head, I want you to remember this. You're not asking much, but you're now going to communicate what you want. and what is important to you
Mm.
in a very healthy way. So he's aware, and that's it. Simple.
Okay.
And then we'll see from there where this goes.
Mm.
So it's been nearly
Week today.
a week
Mhm.
today since any communication. Great. So, hey Raj, it's been a week today since we've had any communication. I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who likes a little bit more. Not asking for daily texts, but it'd be really cool to know, because you did say we're going to arrange, we're looking forward to a third date. I'm really excited about it too. But it'd be good to know that is in the diary. So, are we going to do this? If you're still in, great, let's do it. If not, I wish you all the best. Something simple like that. And it doesn't have to necessarily end on the, if not, I wish you all the best. That's something you can choose to put in, you don't have to. I think it's important from the way a guy's psychology works.
Mm.
He needs to know you're ready to just walk away.
Yeah, definitely want to say that.
Yeah.
Because I have been feeling, if it's hard work now, how is it going to be in 2-3 months? I don't want this, that you have to keep thinking about it. Like, obviously with my ex, it was very consistent. It was daily and it was planned dates. So it's completely different. So I feel like I know what I like and I know what I don't appreciate. So, but I was giving this guy a chance because I think he is a nice person.
Yeah. So this is an important case of right where you've had it in the past and you haven't had to ask for it, and you're not used to asking for it.
I'm not used to it. Yeah.
And but actually, this is a healthy part of a relationship, right? Even if you talk about on an intimate level, if you're not willing to communicate with your partner what your needs are, then of course, I'm not a mind reader for anyone, my wife included. She's got to tell me, and then I know, but I don't know if she doesn't tell me. And so this guy might be, but obviously because it's early days, he's thinking, don't need to yet. Still early. We're only dating. Only had a couple of dates.
Yeah, that's fine as well. But just based on the second date, I thought it would be at least something by now. That's all.
Then tell him. Mm-hmm. Don't expect him to. Tell him.
Okay.
And
I can have a go.
This is one of those things though, right? In passing, you'll see this on the singles WhatsApp group, and in other places I see it all the time too, especially on social media. He should already know. He should be doing this, baby girl. No. He's like,
no, I understand that men are not mind readers. I get that, but at the same time, I probably don't know how to communicate in the most effective way, because I'll be very straight and it might upset them. I don't know.
But for example, did that last message get?
That message was good because you helped.
So it didn't upset him, did it?
No.
And
but
you know what?
It was
I had another one.
Actually.
I had another one recently as well, where I taught a lady this. Right, so same scenario, just to paint the picture for everyone out there watching, wondering when the date's going to happen, what's going on. I crafted the helped her craft the message, or gave her the idea. She did it. He sent her a message back. She sent me a screenshot, right, of the message where it was said, right, location, time, and literally location, here, time here, right? So he literally planned an itinerary. And sometimes, like I said, we guys just need that prompt. We need that little kind of nudge. That we need two things: prompting and enabling. Well, we need more than that, of course. Appreciation as well is a big one for men. And those three things from a woman are very powerful for a man. So
prompting,
enabling, prompting,
and appreciation.
So the example I've always given is that if you were to ask me on a date, I won't say no. That's both a prompt and enable. If you wanted to kiss me right now, I may not resist. Probably not resist is the right word, but you get what I mean. But it's the same thing. And for a guy, that's like, when the guesswork comes out of it, the relief that he feels, the kind of, the guesswork is removed, and he's just like, he can actually relax. You almost see a different side to the guy when he's no longer having to try and mind read you. to get it all
Having
right all
said
the time.
that, I just thought maybe I don't know if this is the truth, but at the end of the date, before I got on the train, obviously I didn't know how I was going to get home. So he said, "Oh, you can stay at mine." And I said, "Oh, no, that's not my intention. And, I need to get home," kind of thing. So and then the next day I thought, "Oh, I wonder if he thought, oh, that's like a rejection." But for me, it's not. It's like, no, I'm not going there kind of thing. So it could be like you're saying, it's like the way I communicated. It's not my intention, to do that. And I need to get home,
Yeah.
quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's very hard to gauge these things, right? There is obviously a very fine line between a guy who's being sleazy and not very nice versus a guy who's just thinking, am I at that level already? Am I there? Do I try this or not? Do I say it or not? Guys have a very difficult job to do sometimes in knowing what's right, what's not right. I was quite lucky, touch wood. I don't think I ever... Actually, saying that, I did try to...
Because you're the love doctor.
The very first time I tried to kiss Neeti, though, she was like, "Whoa!" Right, so, sorry, honey. But no, it just was the timing. But for me, I was just like, I'm in the moment. I'm going for it, right? But then the second time was just, nice.
I think it's nice that when the guy sort of asks you, "Can I kiss you?" kind of thing. I think that's really, and that was the other guy. And I think there's more respect in that. But yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, from what people have seen on the movies and Hollywood and Bollywood or whatever, people think that steals a romantic side of it. It doesn't at all. It depends on how you do it. If it's very kind of, robotic, "Can I kiss you now?" then, then yes.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But if it's like, I do feel like this is a good moment.
Yeah, it just happens naturally.
Yeah, it does for the most part.
Yeah.
But if you're not sure, you can say it. And it's not going to remove anything from the experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. But again, we're just human beings. We overthink it. We go into these modes. We get into our head and we start, trying to, calculate every probability. This and again, this is how a man's mind works. He's going in the logical mode, going like, "Is now the right time? Should I do it now? Should I wait? Should I?" Like, honestly, when you understand, I've got a good understanding of the way women think and the way men think, and when you understand the differences, it's very funny. Yeah, it's almost it is comedy. This is why comedies are good. Romantic comedies are great because they highlight some of the differences between men and women and how we work. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just talking about men and women for this example, and that's it. Simple as that. So yeah, be upfront with him. So let's summarize this anyway. So your job now is to... These aren't boundaries as such, but they are just setting the expectations of what your needs are. And you can even say to him, by the way, if there's anything you need from me, you're always welcome to tell me.
He did say his way of communication, texting or calling, he doesn't really do that. So then my question is, how do you build something without...
that is, of course, a very good question, right? Yeah. So, obviously, look, we are at a point at this now where you've already realized you've got great chemistry, which is good. But the big question is longevity. Like from a longevity point of view, is this going to go any further? Are you okay with a guy who's not really au fait with calling and texting, and he just wants to meet, versus you who needs communication?
No.
Is it going to be somewhere that this can meet in the middle?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, I don't know, and that's why I'm hesitant to send any text to him.
Yeah.
Should I just leave it, kind of thing?
Now that you've mentioned that a little bit detailed to me, obviously that makes even more sense now, and that's fine. That's okay. You can even actually then change this message a little bit and just say, "Look, I think for me, not hearing from you is quite a tough thing because I'm used to getting communicate. Like I like communication."
I think that's what my text is about, actually, a bit like that.
Cool. So rephrase it a little bit. Don't lose the playfulness. Don't lose, it's not about having a go at him. It's not about
not
telling him off or anything about, what he's done up until now. It's just that you have learned that this is who he is. And he's going to have to now learn that this is who you are.
I am. Yeah, that's the bit I'm probably not good at, but yeah. I need to.
Yeah, and that is it. And I think that we need to be more comfortable in, communicating our needs, our wants, who we are, what we want, etc. I said something to Nidhi recently. I'm not going to say it on camera, but it was just one of those things that, you know, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, I said it in quite a, you know, like a bit of a fed up, angry way. But actually, in hindsight, I think to myself, why not just tell her calmly? Like I could have done. But that's just a typical, again, it's my typical way of kind of bottling something up until I go beyond boiling point and I go over the edge, right? So that's just happens that time. She reminded me, don't let it get to that point again. You know, you snapped and that's not nice. And I said, you're absolutely right. I should have said it sooner and I should have said it calmly. But I need you to also know this is what I need as well. So it is that thing, right? But, you know, ultimately a couple of things we've learned about the whole anxious avoidant thing. You now communicate with him what your needs are. He needs to, and obviously he's already specified that actually I'm not much of a communicator.
And he's acknowledged it, and he did say I want to get better at it, but I can't see any.
Well, again, you know, this shows scope to me. I mean, like, look, to me, this is not over. It's just a question of you've got to take this step now to get over the next hurdle, to get past this hurdle, should I say, and into the next phase of, this is like almost, this, when we talk about the 5 stages of relationships, there is the honeymoon phase, but actually there's the pre-phase, which I call the dating phase, of course, before you even get into the honeymoon stage. So this is that stepping stone. And I always say to people, it's usually the 3rd to the 6th date where you're crossing over from actually dating to being in a relationship and the honeymoon phase of a relationship. You know, the really early stage where everything is like wonderful, amazing, they're the best person in the world, they've got no flaws, they're perfect, that kind of thing,
absolutely.
Right? So that's where we're getting to. So, okay, so to round off anyway, you know, we've kind of done a summary and you know what you're going to do?
Yes.
And when are you going to do it?
I think today, yeah. Today.
Literally the moment we leave here, just go for it, do it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say here that this is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, actually, one of these days I should get someone on here and I actually have to message as we're doing it and see what happens, right? And see if they get the response. But that's happened before as well, where I've, you know, said to someone, I was with someone.
Let's do it.
Well, we got 5 minutes left if you want to craft that message quickly. No, next time we need to have your phone. Next time, we need to have your phone right there. But yeah, so I think this has been a good thing. But okay, so now, and you did mention you've got another date lined up
tomorrow. Yeah,
sweet. Okay.
So that date, the journey to that date was very fun, playful.
Yeah,
as in, you know, a lot of banter about, you know, we're on the phone and I said, let's just imagine we were on a date, but obviously,
nice.
You know, so we just made it all fun, and then we made it into like an interview, but like, you know, a bit more fun on the dating side, sort of interviews. So yeah, it was fun. And then within that call, the date was booked.
Lovely.
So, yeah,
that's what
good.
I like to hear.
So,
and he was he quite progressive in terms of he did it? He was the one proactive.
Yeah,
one
he did. I never instigate dates.
Bring him on the couch as well. I still do. No, but so good. All right, cool. So now you're learning this. If you find there's anything with this guy that you need to communicate it and say something, that if it's not in the way that you like, then tell him. Likewise. Let him know. Say if there's something.
A bit uncomfortable here, but tell him.
It's this, and this is where people get confused between change and growth. So that's something we'll touch on next time. We'll get into that now because obviously big like, but being able to grow into what someone's needs are, right, and being able to understand what their value system is, how they operate, etc. So we will kind of touch upon that. But anyway, we'd like a report back on that one. And obviously, if that doesn't go any further after this, then I would like for you to take what you've learned today. And should this arise between now and the next session, you meet someone where the communication is lacking, you're going to now put this into practice very quickly. You won't wait too long. You're not going to think about it. You're going to think, okay, this guy's taking forever to get back to me. I need to send this message. You know the template now. Very simple. No, you're not looking for any pen pals. You're looking forward to meeting. It'd be lovely. You're a wonderful gentleman. I think you're great. But if that's not you and you don't want to take this further, absolutely fine. No problem. Yeah. If you like to meet, let's go for it.
Seriously is absolutely fine. But no communication is quite strange to me. Yeah. Like, I'd rather just someone say, you know, it's fine. You know, you're not my cup of tea.
Like I said to you, we said this when we exchanged messages. It's not that complicated. I don't think I personally don't think it's very complicated at all. I just think we've understood a little bit about him and we've understood a little bit about you. Yeah. And now it's just trying to figure out a way, is this actually going to work long term? That, you know, you two very different people with very different needs. You get on well, of course, so there's a foundation there. But can you now meet in the middle from this point onwards to help you, serve each other? That's it, really.
I mean, I'm more curious if I did send the text to see what happens. It's more curiosity now, and I'm not sure because of the differences.
No, you should.
matched.
You should.
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
No, I think I definitely. You say it's curiosity. I think it's more than that. Actually, I think there is an element to this that is the almost not necessarily closure. I think that's always a bit of a word that is really misunderstood. But it's more about just kind of just gaining an understanding of where his head is at. It's an understanding. It's a bridge you're crossing to literally potentially go from either go across that bridge or you're going to go around and go in a different direction. That's it. Simple.
Okay.
Cool. Tune in next week, folks.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Feel Inspired podcast with my lovely client and guest, Devi. And so this was, like I said, episode 1 of season 3, first session with Devi. And there's going to be 5 more of these as well. So stay tuned. Tune into the next one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok for all the snippets that we posted from this as well. And in the meantime, I'll see you all on the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Done. Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Clap.
Clap,
You
clap.
don't need that yet. Sorry. Yeah. Does that make sense though? All make sense?
Yeah.